Alright, so just like real quick, what we were working on was we're trying to model that number 3 character. Alright, so this is the assignment up here. You need to model the number 3 character. That's what you're getting points for. And it's a big grade. It's a big, I think I made it like a 100-point grade. So just kind of recognize this is a big project. Don't drop the ball on this one. Give it a shot. Try it. Alright. I got 2 reference images up there for you to use for his front and for his side. And then just real quick, one more time, like deep down in the PDF here, a couple pages down, it's on, I don't know, like maybe even in the 30s. You got the whole description on how to go about doing it. So if you want to, like at home on your own, open this up and kind of look ahead maybe and kind of see like procedurally how to work through this, you have some information. It's just a basic overview, very broad. I even do some things a little bit different. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You can do stuff like your own way. If you have a better way to do it, that's cool. All right? Some of you guys like using Blender. If you want to try the same procedure in Blender, I don't care. You can use Blender for this if you want, but I'm going to show you in 3D Studio Max. Okay? So that's the gist there. All right? I told you I was going to breeze through this, so we'll go back through it a little bit quick. Some of the big things that I like to do, I always like to work in like full screen mode. All right, so like Alt-W on your keyboard switches back and forth between like whatever viewport is selected in full screen. That's like number 1. Number 2, we got to build a virtual studio, so that's the same thing that was described in the textbook here. All right, we're making a virtual studio. It's basically just 2 planes sitting perpendicular to each other with our reference images on it. But it builds like a little nexus area where you can construct your model in between those. So you're building the 3D model right in between those 2 perpendicular grid planes. All right. So to get started, I'm just using my Create tab, brand new standard primitive geometry. We're going to create 2 planes. I'm going to build one down here on the ground. The number 1 thing I think you should do immediately is set a length and a width. All right. So if it looks like a box, it's probably not entirely a box. So you got to make sure that this length and width information is proportional to each other. So like 1-to-1 ratio, 50-to-50, 10-to-10, 30-to-30, 100-to-100. I'm going to use 50-to-50 just because I think it's a decent size on my screen. All right. Once that plane is constructed, we need to rotate the plane up so that it's perpendicular to the ground plane. All right. So I'm going to use the rotate tool. And then I like my little angle snap toggle. It lets me rotate things visually. I can make sure that I'm rotating the object in the direction that I want to, and I'm watching those numbers across the top of the screen there. So I'm rotating it 0 on the x-axis, 45, 55 on the y, and then 0 on the z. So I'm waiting until I see a 90 right there, and then I know that that plane is perpendicular to the ground. All right, so perpendicular just means there's a right angle there. Okay, so if we look at it from the side, we might not even see anything. You look at it from an angle, you're going to see something. All right. One other thing we need to make sure that we do, all right, is to set up our view so that we're looking at things not perspective, but with in an orthographic view. All right. So up here in the top left-hand corner of your screen, you can switch over from perspective to orthographic, or the keyboard shortcut is U. All right. But that sets everything up so that you're looking at things orthographically. There's 0 perspective. Then I'm just going to use the Z-axis, like the move tool, just to move this up off the ground. All right. At that point, we need another plane for the background of our character. This is going to be like the side view. We're going to put one with his front view on it. So we need to make a copy of that plane. So if you just hold down Shift and move it, that makes a copy. All right. If you're uncomfortable doing a copy maneuver, you can just build a new plane over here. It's up to you. Just make sure it's the same length and width. All right. So 50 by 50 like the other one. And then just rotate it up. But all you're doing, you're building 2 planes perpendicular to each other. All right, so if I rotate this one 90 degrees in a different axis, set that up on the ground. Really, we just want these 2 planes, like creating a little place where we can build our character. So it's just a virtual studio. Two planes perpendicular, 90 degrees between them, 90 degrees between the ground. And if we look at it in 3D just so you can see it a little bit better, that's kind of what we have. All right. Next thing is to get those pictures on there. All right, so we need to get the side view on the plane on the right. We need to get the front view on the plane looking at us. Okay, so back on Google Classroom, I have those two pictures. So if you're working on AppStream, you need to get these two pictures into your Google Drive folder. And then when you're working, you can load them out of your Google Drive folder and you can put them in your project. All right, I'm working on my PC, so I could just click on them and download them locally. One thing, the computer doesn't really like that for some reason, so like I gotta open it in a new tab and then go over here and hit download. So there's like a little bit of a nuance there, but then it's really just dragging and dropping those pictures and putting them onto the reference planes. I think we actually wanted that one on the other side, so we'll just do that. Put that one on the other side over here. Alright, and we'll go back and do the same thing for the side view. Open that in a new tab. Let's see, we'll go back. I gotta right click on it, I guess. Open a new tab. And then you guys at home, like I said, you're just gonna have to put these pictures in your Google Drive folder. Alright, and then you should have no problem using them in your project. And it looks like they go on kind of on like the guy's laying on his back. We don't really want that, so we could just rotate that picture plane. That was proportional 1-to-1, so it doesn't make any difference if it's rotated in a different direction. But now you have like a nice little place to build, you know, your 3D character in between there. Okay, so right in the middle of that. So I'm going to stop that one screen grab. This is the Virtual Studio setup. All right. I guess the only other thing, maybe kids on AppStream, you might have trouble, I guess, like getting those pictures, like with the drag and drop procedure, that might not work. Let me just say one more thing about that. If you use the material editor, all right, you should be able to right click in the background and add like a general bitmap material. That'll let you actually like go and find like that picture file. All right, so you can go and you can find the picture file. It would be in like this PC, and then it would be in your Google Drive folder. For me, I think I downloaded it, so I have my top and side images. But if I just put those on there, that gives you a place where you can drag and drop these right onto the material. All right, actually, I think you might have to make a new material first. Let's see. So if we just make we'll just make like a physical material real quick, and we'll tie that into. Let's see. I think if you tie that into the diffuse layer, you should be good. Yeah, let's see. Materials, general. There should be like a standard material. I'm not seeing it. Let's see if we can get that material on there. That might be something that kids at home have trouble with. Yeah, that actually worked okay. All right, so kids on AppStream, you might have to set up a bitmap, which is your picture, and a material, and then apply the material to that picture plane just to get the picture to show up. All right, you might not be able to drag and drop, so that could be one little glitch. All right, but if you need to do that, I'll go through that one more time. You're just going to create a map, a general bitmap. It lets you go and find the picture that you need to use. So in this instance, it's like that side view. All right, and then I was thinking you could drag and drop this right on there. It doesn't want me to do that. So we need to create a material that can feed into, and I guess we'll just use like a physical material, and we can tie that into like the base color map. That should be fine. And now you can take that little node and you can put it right on the plane, the picture plane, and it should show up. All right, so that should work for you to get the pictures to show up if you're having trouble there. All right, but that's your Virtual Studio. I'm going to press stop on this real quick. All right, so you guys can spend some time just getting the Virtual Studio set up, and then I'll do another video for you on how to start modeling the body if you get that far. Okay?